Today we are going to talk about how to start a charity, how long will it take to start a charity, how much money do we need to spend to start a charity. Mr. Kumar will enlighten you with the details.
Today's episode will talk about charities, how to start a charity, how long does it take, how much does it cost. And again, my name is AJ Kumar. I'm an accountant, a CPA at Sai CPA Services. So let's break it down. Before you start a charity, it has to be an organization first. So the very first step about starting a charity is deciding the mission. What do you want to do? What is this charity going to be involved with? Do you want it to be a religious charity, a social charity, or a networking group? All these are non-for-profit companies. A lot of times the word charity gets confused with a non-for-profit company. Say, for example, a chamber of commerce, or your networking group, or homeowners association. All these organizations are non-for-profit companies. But are they charities? Probably not. They are in the business of doing certain things, achieving certain mission, but they are not in the business of charity. Say homeowners association is not supposed to be making profit, but at the same time it's not a charity. And you wonder what the difference is? Well, the difference comes to taxes. The donation given to a charity is a tax deductible donation. Money given to a generally non-for-profit company that's not classified as a charity, and we'll get into the IRS code. 501c3, for example, is a charity, religious charity, or something that's meant for public benefit. 501c4, on the other hand, is a social organization. It doesn't have to be a charity. 501c6, for example, is a networking group, a social group. At the same time, 501c4 and 501c6 contributions are not tax deductible. 501c3, it has to be in order to be tax deductible. So in today's episode, we'll try to give you as much information as possible about starting a charity or starting a non-for-profit company, then going to IRS, going to the state to claim certain exemptions when it comes to income tax filing and payment, at the same time sales tax filing and sales tax payment. So the first step again is to start a business. Once you know this is the type of organization you want, and let's say you are trying to start a religious organization, a cow shelter, for example. For a cow shelter, you want to make sure people are contributing money, and then you are using this money for the benefit of the organization. In this case, you can classify it as public charity. Public charity means you expect the money, at least 2/3 of the money, to be coming from the public. If less than 2/3 of the money is coming from the public for continuously more than 3 years, then IRS has the right to classify your charity as a private charity, private foundation they call it, as opposed to public charity. So again, the first step is to start the organization. You need to start the organization with your state. Let's say, for example, state of New Jersey or state of New York first. Then you need to get the proper EIN number and do the proper tax registration. This is called forming the organization. Once the organization is created, once the organization is formed, you have a purpose, you have an EIN number, you can get the bank account for this charitable organization. The second step, the next step is going to IRS and requesting a 501c3, 501c4, 501c6, whatever type of status you are seeking, depending on if it's a religious organization, it's a social club, networking group, depending on what you're looking for, and if you want the contributions to be tax deductible or not, depending on all those scenarios, you file an application 1023 with IRS to request a 501c3 type of status. It's called the income tax exemption. And let's say in this case, the IRS gave you 501c3. And please remember, Lakshmi, you asked a good question, how much does it cost? So the IRS fees for 501c3 organization, depending on the size, could be as much as $850. That's their fee. The accountant will charge you on top of it. The state fees are there to form the organization. So it can cost as much as $2,000 to $2,500 depending on the type of charity you are trying to create in the whole process. But again, the first step is to forming the organization. Second step is going to the IRS to get the 501c3 exemption in our case. Once you have the 501c3 status, you can take a copy of the 501c3 status, the 501c3 approval, and give it to the state that you live in to request a sales tax exemption. So any purchases you are making under that organization, you don't have to pay the sales tax. Once you have the sales tax, you may have certain filing obligations on a yearly basis. For example, 990 filing obligation and the annual report filing obligation. Typically, 990 obligations are with the IRS, with the federal government, and annual report filing obligations are with the state of New Jersey. So all in all, Lakshmi, it can take up to 6 months to form a non-for-profit company. It can be $2,000 to $2,500 of total cost in the whole process, depending on which type of entity you are choosing to go. And it's a great idea. Once you have the organization, you have a mission, you can start requesting your friends, family, you can have a website, you have a bank account, and request everybody to contribute money to this organization so you can do the right thing. You can promote the mission for your organization. And please remember, all the contributions going to 501c3 are tax deductible. Contributions going to social clubs, 501c4, and networking clubs like 501c6 are not supposed to be tax deductible, even though 501c4 and 501c6 type of contribution may be deductible as business expense.
Mr. Kumar, can you just tell us what kind of gifts qualify for the charitable contribution?
Let's talk about gifts in general. So gifts have a limit of $15,000, and this gift limit is from one person to another person. So let's say one husband wife wants to gift money to another husband wife, non-related party. So husband can give 15,000 to another husband can give 15,000 to another wife, and so can wife. So from one husband wife to another husband wife, from one couple to another couple, the gift limit is $60,000. They cannot include this gift as a tax deduction. Gifts given to a 501c3 organization are tax deductible gifts. Gift doesn't have to be cash or check. Gift can be in kind, or you can gift stocks at appreciated value. Then fair market value of the stocks is deduction for you. You can have an item, and you can get a certificate of fair market value, an appraisal certificate, and based on the appraisal certificate, based on the fair market value of that item, you can claim the deduction. IRS used to have 50% limit on what you can claim as charitable contributions, charitable deduction. That limit was increased to 60% last year under the CARES Act, and under COVID-19, now that limit has been removed completely. You can have up to 100% of your taxable income being offset by the charitable contributions. So the charitable contributions have gone through a lot of changes, and currently there is no limit on the gift that you can give to a 501c3 organization to make it tax deductible. If you give a gift to, let's say, a Panditji, a priest, that gift is not tax deductible because the priest is not a 501c3 organization. Priest is working for a 501c3 organization. Let's say if you go to a temple and you write a check to the temple, it's tax deductible for you. If you write the same check to the priest, that's not tax deductible for you. So the gift must be written out to a charitable organization that's registered with IRS. We call it qualified charity. If a charity is not registered with IRS, it's technically is still a charity, but it's not qualified. And qualified word means the amount you are giving to that charity are not tax deductible for you.
How about giving some contribution to an Indian organization?
So in current situation, the way the Indian scenario is going, a lot of people wants to donate money to Indian charity, wants to contribute money to Indian charity. But please remember, going back to our qualified versus non-qualified charity, if these Indian charities are not registered with IRS, they're technically, even though they are charities, they're not qualified charity when it comes to the tax deduction. So what you could do, Lakshmi, if you donate money to a US charity, and a lot of people are pooling their money into a US charity, and this US charity is doing some charity in India. So we directly can't really claim the deduction for the money that we are giving to the Indian charity. But if a US charity gives money to the Indian charity, that's allowed. So the loophole is, or the right way of doing it is, a lot of people come together, put the money into a US charity, and this US charity can donate money to wherever the US charity decides.
We had great information from Mr. Kumar regarding charitable contribution today. Thank you very much for viewing this, viewers. If you have any questions, call us at 908-888-8900.